From the highest damage ever recorded to the most leopard fruits found in one server, here are 21 insane Blox fruits world records. Starting off with the fastest max level, which was achieved by DV Gaming. In just 14 hours and 14 minutes, he managed to level all the way up to 2,450, which at the time was the highest level possible. He even posted a full 15-hour recording of the entire attempt. This is by far one of the craziest world records ever taken, and I doubt it'll be beaten anytime soon. One of the most famous records in Blox fruits history is the highest damage achieved, and this record was broken by none other than Kick Gaming. By spamming attacks against the cursed skeletons, he managed to rack up a damage count of over 1 billion after hours of gameplay. To think he managed to do this without cheats is crazy. But what's the highest damage a player has done with cheats? Well, this record is currently held by the one and only Yuza, who managed to deal an extremely high amount of damage after spawning in a few extra enemies to increase his AoE ability's effectiveness. He managed to score a huge count of 80,407,758,357,215. I'd love to see someone even try to match that record. Big Mom is one of the toughest bosses to defeat in the entire game, but the most skilled players can take her down with ease. Just like Jin, who managed to kill this boss in only 8 seconds. I wonder if I can break this record. Nope. Definitely not. How fast can you complete the first sea in Blox fruits? This was another record Kick Gaming decided to go for, and he set out to defeat the previous record of 4 minutes and 1 second. And after a few attempts, Kick Gaming managed to defeat every single boss in the first sea in just 3 minutes and 45 seconds, beating the record with a whole 16 seconds to spare. For a world record, that's a crazy difference. Some titles are extremely hard to get in Blox fruits, and chances are you don't even have half of them. But what's the most someone has actually gotten on one account? Kaido's Play spent a whole month. Yes, that's right. Literally an entire month, collecting as many titles as possible, using various milestones in the game, codes, and purchases. And by the end of it, he managed to get 176 titles, which at the time of his recording was every single obtainable title in the game. But of course, since there is a limit to this record's definitely tied several ways. Getting ranged kills in Blox fruits is usually quite difficult, but this record from Ashy shows a method to gain a literally unbeatable record. He found out that there was a bug with the Gamma Rush ability, and if you left the ability circle while still holding the button down, you could trigger the ability from anywhere you want, which allows you to get a kill from some insane distances. After performing the bug, you just get a friend to drive you to the other end of the map to set up a crazy kill like this. And since this bug allows you to get a kill at literally any distance, this record is completely unbeatable, as the possible distance you can do this from is infinite. Many records focus on being the fastest, but what about being the slowest? When you connect your controller instead of using a keyboard, you can manually reduce your own speed significantly by moving the joystick only slightly in a direction instead of fully. Add a few debuffs from enemy attacks, and suddenly you are moving so slowly that you basically aren't moving at all. Newbie tried this method to achieve the slowest movement speed possible, and after a few tries, he was basically stationary. When first starting in Blox fruits, you always want to find fruits as fast as possible, but it can take some time to find one, and it can take a long time to actually find a good one. However, Jay and Protagonist managed to get his first fruit in a record-breaking time, and while the method is easy, it's also extremely tedious. Under this tree in Starter Island, there is a chance that a fruit will spawn. However, it is incredibly rare. Jay had to keep restarting his game to respawn, but when he finally managed to do it, it only took him a few seconds when he finally got a lucky fruit spawn. But Sparky, he's on a max account. It's the thought that counts, okay? Lots of people think that the factory mission in Blox fruits is boring, and if you're one of those people, you'll definitely enjoy this record, because Kaido's plays managed to destroy the entire factory in just 3 seconds. Now that's an easy way to get reward. Grinding for cash in Blox fruits can be extremely tedious, but this record shows you that you can get some cash really fast. Newbie's record for the most cash collected in just 1 minute will have you reconsidering your entire money grinding strategy, because his strategy for this particular record was to take a quest from this quest giver and then group up a lot of enemies to take down with some massive attack. And with this strategy, he managed to get 115,103 belly. This works out to over 1,900 belly per second, which is absolutely unreal. If you play Blox fruits for long enough, you are bound to find some people with staggering bounties, but this one is absolutely crazy. Jin got some people together and killed them over and over again until he managed to obtain a bounty of 30 million. This is the max possible bounty in the game, so while obviously Jin isn't the only one with this record, he definitely got there very fast. Speaking of opposite records, usually it's the highest possible damage people are trying to achieve, but who has gotten the lowest damage? Newbie also managed to achieve this with an interesting strategy. By using the worst weapon and hitting an enemy with the dragon enhancement, he managed to deal just 0.2 damage per hit, which is laughably low. Being in combat for a really extensive period of time is rare in Blox fruits, and depending on what you're doing, doing, you'll probably be in combat for only a few minutes at most. However, Jay and Protagonist had a record for the longest time spent in combat, and like some of the other records on this list, it's technically unbeatable. This method is a little bit cheesy, as you do need to use an auto clicker for it to work. Just get a friend to stand directly across from you, and use the auto clicker to spam low damage attacks. You can technically use this method to stay in combat infinitely, but Jay stayed in combat for 52 minutes and 35 seconds until he got bored. But he still broke the world record regardless. A similar method can be used to achieve the record for the longest time spent in a single server. Mangopool used an auto clicker to stay in the same server for over 24 hours. And if you really want, you can beat this record just by leaving your computer for a few days. And hey, if you're going on vacation, you could leave it for literal weeks. Just don't blame me if your house burns down. I've got an idea. I'll leave it running while I go on vacation. And let's see if I broke the my PC. Hey, at least I got a world record. There are a few ways to travel really quickly in Blox, but what's the fastest you've seen someone travel from one island to another? Well, Yuzoth managed to travel all the way from Tiki Outpost to the Great Tree by using Light Fruit, and he did it in just 10 seconds. How does he move so fast? When you stack the best enchantments in Blox fruits, you can get some crazy speed. Jin has the record for the fastest time crossing this bridge, and by using the right fruits, he managed to do it at an incredible speed. And using the leopard fruit, he made it across the bridge in only 4 seconds. One of the coolest things you can do in Blox fruits is cook up some crazy combos with your abilities, and the world record for the longest one is absolutely insane. Kit Gaming managed to take the record with a combo that lasted well over 2 minutes. He achieved this by first eating the venom fruit, and then resetting his skill points to max out his melee stat. This allowed him to have enough energy to stack an insane combo in-game to take the record. If you're a fan of leopard fruit, then this record for the most leopards in a single mission will make you cry tears of joy. Kaido's plays gathered 12 leopards in one server before setting out, and managed to make some pretty cool fireworks with the ability spam too. Have you ever wanted to be invincible in Blox fruits? This record-breaking build from Jin just might be good enough. Using the dragon enchantment and a bunch of other bonuses, he managed to achieve the highest defense ever in the game, and when someone tried to use an attack on him, he barely even took damage. The fastest level 100 world record is a record that is attempted fairly often in the Blox fruits community. Kit Gaming managed to take this record by going to Fountain City, activating a code for double XP, and killing several high-level bosses. He managed to hit level 100 in just 11 minutes and 38 seconds, while most players will take several hours to reach that level. If you're looking for an easy record to beat, this one's for you. Clay K spent 12 minutes swimming from the outskirts of the map, setting the record for the most time spent swimming in game. This record is incredibly easy to beat for a couple reasons, as obviously you can simply just go farther than he did, but you can actually make this much longer by disabling your fruit and not using Fishman. So if you're looking to get in the Blox fruits record book, this is definitely the record to do it on. How long do you usually take to complete a raid in Blox fruits? It doesn't matter, because I bet it's nowhere near as fast as this record. This is another record held by Newbie, who managed to finish a magma raid with 9 minutes and 11 seconds left, beating the previous record by over 10 whole seconds. And if you're thinking about trying this one yourself, just know it's gonna take you many attempts. 21 insane Blox fruits world records. Make sure to subscribe and watch this video on the screen. Or don't, I can't tell you what to do.